In this episode, I go over my top 10 picks for New Comic Book Day, December 22nd, 2021. What's going on, everybody? Justin here, aka No Good Comics, and welcome back to the channel. This is where I'm going over my top 10 picks for New Comic Book Day coming out next week, December 22nd, 2021. And yes, December 22nd, I can't believe we're that close to the holidays. It's just been flying by, but I love this time of year. I want to clarify some things. I know I feel like I've been away for a little while. I know, moving around some of my regularly scheduled stuff. I missed last week for top 10. Things have just been a little hectic lately with work and just life in general. But I will say everything is good. I'm okay. Things are good. Still cranking over on Instagram, and we'll obviously, start picking up here again on YouTube, but definitely just needed a little bit of time to focus on some other things going on. But I'm back now, planning out some different ideas with this particular series that I've been doing, this top 10 series. But I'm going to put a little more brainstorming into that for now. I'm going to kind of run through these books a little quicker than I normally do, just for the sake of time. But again, if you're not familiar with this is the list that I go over of books that I'm looking forward to myself personally for next week. Series that I'm reading right now, or series that are about to come out that I'm just really interested in. So would love to know what you guys think of this list. Would love to hear your comments in the comment section below, your recommendations if you think I missed anything, as always. And of course, take a moment, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. And big shout out to everybody in the Premiere chat right now. Always appreciate you guys taking some time to hang out with me here on these Thursday afternoon-ishes. Every 12:30 Eastern time if you guys want to catch these on a semi-live or premiered live version. So anyways, I'm going to jump right into it here. Again, going to kind of speed through some of these a little faster than normal, but going to kick it off here with number 10. Got to go with House of Slaughter, issue number 3. I enjoyed the first issue from what I read. I didn't get to read the second issue. I'm a little behind on that right now, but definitely this is a title that I want to dive into and continue to keep up on. Obviously, Tynan doing what he does, and something to kill the children being as successful as it was. I do want to see where this goes from where I've left off. So definitely wanted to have that on the list. So that's number 10, House of Slaughter, issue number 3. Going at number 9 is Nubia and the Amazons, and this is a title I still have not been able to catch up on yet either. It just looks so good, and the artwork, and I've been hearing so many great things about the writing and just where the story's going. So I'm very intrigued with this. It's right now this is 3 of 6, so halfway essentially, but maybe I can sit down and just kind of knock out these previous 3 issues. But yeah, either way, I definitely wanted to include this on the list here, and really do enjoy that cover here for cover A. So that's gonna be my number 9 pick of the week, Nubia and the Amazons, issue number 3. Going into my number 8 pick, it's a Batman title. I know there's so many Batman titles that are out right now, but this one definitely caught my attention. I want to give it a shot. It's Batman One Dark Knight. Issue number 1. I don't know if there's several issues to this or if it's a one shot. I do see cover price is $6.99, which is kind of up there, but it is a black label DC book, so usually those are about that. The thing that intrigued me most about this is the fact that Jock is writing this. He's writing, and he's also doing the interior artwork. So that alone is something that gets my attention, because I really like what Jock has done in the past, and certainly want to give it a shot. So I'm down with that, and that is why that is on my list here at number 8, Batman One Dark Knight, issue number 1. Going into my number 7 pick, I'm going to go with Robins, issue number 2, another DC book here. The first issue I really enjoyed, I enjoyed enough to where I want to pick up the second issue, see what it's about. I think the biggest thing for me with this series is I just want to learn more about the Robins. And there were definitely some things in the first issue that I don't know if maybe went over my head a little bit, or like I'm still learning some of their personalities and understanding kind of who they are. But I do like the premise of the overall story. I know that the last issue also left with a bit of a cliffhanger. So that alone, I think, keeps me hooked and wanting to read more of this. And it's only 6 issues total. So, I'm pretty sure I'm probably going to follow this all the way through. I think a big reason why, though, that I'm even giving this more of a shot is the fact that I've really been enjoying the main Robin title, and also Nightwing, obviously. those two, wanting to learn a little bit more about them. So, I just want to see where this goes, and again, try to learn a little bit more about some of the other Robins. So that's going to be my number 7 pick of the week, Robins, issue number 2, by Tim Seeley, by the way, doing the writing there. And then at number 6, I'm going to go with Nocterra. It's like I want to say it's kind of like an annual. It's called Nocterra Blacktop Bill Special. So I know that the first story arc, I think, had ended for Nocterra. I admit I'm a little behind on it. I've read the first 3 issues or 4 issues, I think. But I didn't read the most recent one. But I love the premise. I love the story. From what I've been reading so far, Scott Snyder has become someone who I've just really grown to appreciate. I'm still reading a lot of his content, like trying to catch up with a lot of his like older stuff even. But being part of his class, which is something I recently shared, I just really enjoy him as a person and hearing his stories and the way he teaches kind of the idea of how to write, essentially. And not that I'm trying to become a writer per se, but it's just a really cool viewpoint as a reader, to kind of get an idea of like what a writer goes through and what they're thinking. So I've just been a fan of Scott Snyder in general. And so that's why I definitely want to continue with this. And again, Nocterra has been really great from what I've read so far, and from what I've heard has been outstanding. So also the artwork here is just incredible. I mean, Tony S. Daniel, I mean, I know they have worked together in the past, and they're just a great creative team. So that's a bunch of reasons why this is on my list at number 6. All right, going into my number 5 pick, I'm going to go with X-Men, The Trial of Magneto, issue number 5. And this is, I think, rounding out this mini-series. This is, I have to say, it's been a bit of a roller coaster, and I don't think I actually read issue 4 yet. Something I got to get on soon. I guess I'll read it like right before this comes out. But I feel like the first 2 issues started out really strong. The 3rd issue was like mixed feelings. It got a little weird in certain areas. There's like time travel involved, and I'm not quite sure what else is happening yet, but I'm hoping some stuff got cleared up in the 4th issue. So I have to read that, but this is issue number 5. And again, I think this is what's wrapping this miniseries up. And it feels good to have an X title on my list. I always try to, keep up with the X-Men stuff, now that I've been a lot more caught up lately. So definitely looking forward to kind of seeing where this story goes and how it kind of ties back into some of the main stuff that's going on. So that's gonna be my number 5 pick of the week, The Trial of Magneto, issue number 5. Let's see, going into number 4, and I will say these last 4 all could be number 1 easily, because I'm really excited for all 4 of these books that I'm about to talk about. And if I was doing just a top 4 list, these would be it, essentially. So the number 4 pick for me, it's a Boom Studio book. I got to go with Eat the Rich, issue number 5. This series has been so good. I feel like every single issue, there's something, like there's just something that leaves you hooked, that introduces something new, or a new concept, or a new character development, that is in such a way that I'm just like, damn, I need more of this. And and of course it's got the horror vibes. It's definitely not for kids, a much darker type of a book, but I'm really enjoying it. I also think that the artist, Pius Bach, is incredible. If you guys have not kind of gone through some of the issues, or flipped through at least, take a look at the artwork. It's absolutely gorgeous. Looking at the cover here to this one, this is a series that I've gone out of my way to want to own all cover A's for this miniseries. And I know, and again, I don't know if I mentioned this prior, but the other big thing with this is that I believe this is the finale of this series. So that's the other reason why it's so high on my list, and could easily be number 1, because I'm really enjoying it, and the fact that they're kind of closing this out. I mean, kind of sad, but who knows? I'm not sure where they're going to go with this, or if we're ever going to get more of this. But Sarah Gailey doing the writing, doing an excellent job, and yeah, so I'm on board and looking forward to this for sure. So Eat the Rich, issue number 5. That's my number 4 pick of the week. Going in at number 3, I had to have my man Nightwing on this list. I talked about him earlier when I was talking about the Robins series. I'm so pumped for 87. This is Nightwing 87. It is now back to where Tom Taylor's like kind of reset the story. I know prior to this, he was still kind of in the Tynan event, Batman event that was going on. Fear State, that's all done with now. Now, he'll be able to kind of jump into what seems to be a really unique issue. I see listed here, He says this is a special Nightwing issue with one continuous image. Now, I've seen Bruno Redondo, the artist, and Tom Taylor talking a lot about this particular series for a couple of months now, I feel like, since they basically released the idea of what this was going to be about. And so it's a very unique take. I don't know, to my knowledge, no one's ever done this before, but they're saying that this whole comic book's going to be in one image, essentially. Like, you know, as you turn the pages, it's all just going to flow. So I'm really curious to see kind of how they do this. I assume we're going to get a lot of action, judging by the cover here. But other than that, like, this series has been one of my favorites. I mean, if you guys have not been, you know, if you watch my series, you know how much I love Nightwing, this series by Tom Taylor, and how just he's been crushing it. Him and Bruno Redondo really has, like, just, yeah, I can't say enough about it. So for all those reasons, that's why it's up there, and really, again, should be a number one. But that's going to be my number 3 pick of the week, Nightwing, issue number 87. All right, getting down to the top 2 here, going to my number 2 pick, I have to go with The Righteous Thirst for Vengeance, issue number 3. Rick Remender, this series, it's just been fantastic. The artist here, Andre Lima Aruo, I think I'm saying that right. One of the things I love most about it is that they are letting the artist really tell major parts of this story. And what I mean by that is, you know, there are several panels where there's no text, no talking, no quote bubbles at all, and it's just the artwork, and yet we're still getting this what I feel is a strong style of storytelling, which is, I mean, that's what comics are about, right? It has those two elements where you should be able to carry some of the story just based on the artwork, right? So I feel like, if anything, they do a majority of that in this series so far, from what we got in the first 2 issues. And I will say, with the style of Rick Remender, and shout out to Jason from Claiming Comics. He and we've been kind of going back and forth talking about the series as each issue's been coming out. Rick Remender, definitely his style, at least from what I'm familiar with Black Science, he kind of puts you in the middle of different things going on, and you don't necessarily know exactly what you're into yet, and things get revealed as you go along. And when I say things get revealed, I mean, like, general plot parts. Like, you know, you might ask, like, where does this take place, or who are these characters, or what are they trying to do, and a lot of that's kind of hidden in these first couple issues, and he does that even with Black Science. Like, Black Science, you go right into it and you're right in the middle of action, and I know other comic books do that, but even with that action, there's still so much to understand or grasp within that world that you really don't find out until, like, you know, deep in a couple of issues. So same thing here. Like, we're just getting a little taste of kind of what this series is about. And even for me, like, if I was to just describe shortly, like, what this series is about, from my understanding, it is about this one individual who, again, I don't know what side he's on per se, but it's about a guy who basically, you know, tracks down what seems to be these assassins or you know, people who are getting killed. And I don't know if he's tracking it to check and make sure it's done, or he's tracking it to try to stop the people who are getting it done. There's apparently, like, a black market, you know, where people can, you know, hire others to assassinate others for you, and so on and so forth. And this one particular character that we're kind of focused on, again, not entirely sure what side of things he's on with all of this, but there's definitely some wild things that happen. And the other thing I was talking to Jason about, another part that I like about this is every issue has some sort of deep takeaway, I feel like, from this. And I won't go into the details of it, but if you get a chance, just read that first issue if you haven't already, if you haven't been reading this series, and just give it a shot, and you'll see what I'm talking about. And I'm referring to the scene with the bird, for those of you who've read the series so far. But anyways, it's only the 3rd issue. It reads really fast as well, so it's not a super long read, which I kind of like and appreciate. And it's something that I think you can go back to, and again, take time to kind of look at the artwork, the panels, the story that the art really tells, along with everything else. So take your time with this series. You know, don't need to rush it, but again, if you haven't been reading yet, it's not too late, is what I'm, I guess, trying to get at. But either way, this is something I'm really excited for. Rick Remender and Andrea Lima Aroja. I am probably butchering that. Either way, great stuff. So that's why this is my number 2 pick of the week, A Righteous Thirst for Vengeance by Image Comics. All right, before I get into my final pick here, just want to say again, take a moment, smash that like button if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Everyone that's in the premiere chat, thank you again so much for hanging out. I do have some ideas and some plans coming up for 2022, so just kind of keep an eye out for some of that stuff. In the meantime, you know, still kind of laying low with some of the content that I've been putting out, but I'm still here. If you ever want to talk comics, reach out to me on Instagram. I'm still posting every day. And definitely will continue to put out video content as I'm able to with everything that's going on. But again, for those who've reached out, checking in on me, I appreciate it. Everything is good. Definitely looking forward to the holidays, as I mentioned before. And the other thing I wanted to mention is we're back with Omni X-Men. I'm recording it right now. I'm recording this right now on a Tuesday. So if you missed our Omni X-Men show, we just did X-Men 139 on my channel, me, John's Comics with Kids. And Jason was our special guest, Claiming Comics, so that was a lot of fun, or I'm assuming it was a lot of fun. And then I'm not doing a Comic Collector Origins for the rest of the year, just kind of taking some time off. So keep an eye out for January 8th is going to be my next Comic Collector Origins in case anybody's looking for those. Otherwise, it's a perfect time to go back and catch up on some of the ones that maybe you missed if you didn't see them all. But either way, I will be back with Origins as soon as you know, we start the new year off again, and looking forward to everything. But in the meantime, with the holidays and everything else coming up, I thought I'd take a little bit of time off. But again, leave a comment in the comment section below if you agree with this list, or if you just want to talk comics, or if you have any recommendations for me. As always, I do appreciate that. But let's get into this number 1 pick. And of course, I got to go with Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, issue number 6, Tom King. And also, how you say, Bilquis Evely is the artist who I've went and did a lot more research on Bilquis, and man, she is just awesome. Her artwork's awesome. Followed her over on Instagram. A lot of the things that she puts in, like I've never, I don't think I've ever followed any of her art before until I started reading this book, and I'm really glad that I did. So Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, I mean, I clarify this every time, but I am very new to the character. So if you're watching this right now and you're like, oh, you know, I don't read Supergirl, and I probably won't, or whatever, and I don't know anything about it, you know, and you want to skip the rest of the video, I would say hold off and just hear me out for a sec, because I do think that anybody can enjoy this series, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Tom King, fantastic, especially his mini-series and maxi-series. I know a lot of people are fans of a lot of his short story writing. I personally just like all of his writing that he does. I enjoyed some of the Batman stuff that he did, that I read, and then a lot of the other things that he did, like the Visions, Mr. Miracle, something I still need to finish up on. But Tom King in general, really like his work, and this particular series, I think he's just been doing a tremendous job. One of the things that I like about this too is that each, while it's total 8 issues, each issue kind of has its own place. Like it has its own like beginning and ending, even though they're on a much larger journey. So if you haven't been following this, I won't get into a lot of the details, but you know, it's essentially about it's about this girl, Ruth, who witnesses her father being killed, like right in the beginning. And she's trying to seek vengeance on her killer, on the guy that killed her father. And in doing so, she runs into Supergirl, and basically like asks for help, who at the time Supergirl's like way too busy, and really can't, but then kind of happens to like accidentally stumble into having no other choice but to help Ruth. And it's really interesting to just kind of see the relationship that these two have built throughout the series so far. And it's crazy because it's only issue 6, and I feel like we've gotten so much from these characters, and so much to look back on, and kind of, you know, just knowing their history and what they've gone through so far. Because like I said before, each issue is like its own little mission within the big mission, right? And every issue carries along with it like lessons that are learned, and you witness how these characters really grow, and grow with each other. And something I don't know, I really appreciate it, and I really like the style that Tom King is doing this whole thing in. And so if you're not reading Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, if you've never read any Supergirl before, this is the perfect series to get into. I highly recommend, and obviously that's why it's my number 1 pick. it's one of my favorites right now, and I do recommend checking it out, at least giving it a shot. Maybe when the final 8 come out, I would love to do a full breakdown with this at some point and really go through each issue, because it deserves that. And I'm really excited to see kind of how things go as we wrap this up. But yeah, I mean, until then, we still got, 2+ months still till we get to the end of that. So that's my number 1 pick of the week, Supergirl, Women of Tomorrow, issue number 6. Very excited for it, and hope you are too. But that's it. That's the top 10 list coming out for December 22nd, 2021 for New Comic Book Day. And again, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. Really excited for, again, this is just another great week for comic books, as I always say. A lot of great titles that are coming out, as always, even through the holidays. And so, yeah, otherwise, hope you're all doing really well. I hope you're all having a happy holiday and enjoying this time with your friends and family, and being safe and healthy, and just enjoying this time. Again, if you guys are looking to talk comic books or just reach out and say hello, reach out to me over on Instagram, and I'll be wrapping up and looking forward to next week. So until then, I will talk to you guys later.